What's up, everyone? We are live. It's Sunday night. The Eagles have trounced, demolished. We were trying to figure out how it's spelled before. Demolished the Cowboys 34-6. Feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm Parth. I'm here with Pierre and Quell. How are you guys doing?
Feeling amazing, brother. Amazing, brother. Like you said, bro. They just demolished Dallas. Like it's always fun to see. Like, did you y'all? I know y'all watched the game. Y'all saw the little montage they had of all the sad Dallas fans, bro. It was so. It was beautiful.
Hey, bro, every single time. And I was telling Shavin, I was like, that guy, it was the one in the big cowboy hat, just looking so sorrow. I was like, he gonna be the one on that tweet where it was like, people be going to football games wearing the dumbest outfits, and it's gonna be a picture of him. Man, it was crazy. I was telling them before the pod started, like they said, we was trying to figure out how to spell it. All these scholars here, and we couldn't figure it out. Just beyond me. But all I know is you can't spell demolish without L, which is exactly what Dallas took today, or two of them, since Dallas has two L's in it. But wubba lubba dub dub to those who celebrate. It's out of one and only Marquell Fripp Owens. And I mean, we coming off a absolutely taxing of a Cowboys team that was probably a shell of themselves, at least offensively. Defensively, they kind of got back to their roots. That looked much more like a Mike Zimmer defense, at least the start, where you've seen some double A gap, which they've been hiding for the past couple of weeks when they've been playing with the varsity team. You've seen Micah Parsons getting moved around. I thought it was going to be a splendid day. I mean, it ended up being a splendid day in the end, but I knew it was going to be a splendid day when on the first snap. Man, when I tell you Fred Johnson absolutely handled Michael Parsons, I was like, they don't want to play. They ain't here. They don't want to play.
I was like,
And
I
then
had to
Michael
double
Parsons
check. I was
ended up
like, was
getting a
that
couple
Fred?
sacks.
Was that Fred? I love it.
Yeah,
And it
but
was
then
one on
Micah ended up
one.
getting a couple sacks, and it was pretty depressing for a point in time early. I think, hold on, give me a second. I had it written down because I was ready to tee off on the team. Like, I can't believe this. We're talking about an Eagles team that in the first half, you had 6 penalties, 5 sacks allowed. They said during the broadcast that was the most ever sacks that Jalen Hurts have taken in the first half. So it was looking pretty bad for a point in time. If you'd have told me that the final score would have ended up like it was, I wouldn't have been surprised based on how Dallas looked offensively, but it took a lot to get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that halfway through the. Oh, sorry, Pierre. You go ahead. Let us know how you're feeling, bro.
Yeah, no, I think offensively, they did the thing that we talked about on the pregame or not pregame on the preview pod where like I said it was going to be a throw ball game, but I didn't mean like go into the game and throw every pass 30, 40 yards down the field. Like they did the thing where they got tunnel vision and tried to force the whole explosives and everything, and like they reverted back to operating as the sort of just straight like pure drop back offense, which it kind of puts them at a disadvantage. Like you got all these stars on your offense, why are you like pigeonholing yourself? But it cleared up when they started utilizing every part of the field. And yeah, go ahead.
let me give you some devil's advocate at least for this, just for the sake of conversation. It seemed like the blueprint for the game was pretty vanilla on both sides of the ball. They didn't really try to do a lot of too much, just enough to keep the game at bay. I mean, it seemed like they wanted to get Saquon involved early on, and Dallas did a great job of taking that away. And then they relied on that passing attack that we dread so much. Just you might get some play action, but we're gonna drop back 5 steps. We're gonna see who open, and we're gonna launch it as far as we can. Jalen Hurts football. But I mean, like I said, in terms of devil's advocate, I hate when we play football like that. Clearly, we've been talking about it for months now. I sat back and I'm pretty sure, hopefully, we all had a chance to tune into what was going on in Washington today. And I'm not gonna lie to you, that offense will look a lot similar to what Pittsburgh was doing against them. Run the ball, play action fake, throw the ball down the field. It got to a point in time where it was like I looked at him and I had to remember who I was talking about. I mean, it's Russell Wilson. It's been like this his whole career. He don't really want to throw the ball in the middle of the field. But it was like, why do y'all keep trying to throw the ball down the field? It's 3rd and 5. Get 5 yards. But I mean, when it came down to it, on every time it needed to make a big play down the field, they made it. So I mean, my point of bringing that up was it's good to see that we're not the only team in the NFL running the AJ Brown down there somewhere or George Pickens down there somewhere offense. And B, it was interesting to see because I mean, like I said, I think the game plan was pretty vanilla. I think so because of we got game Thursday. You don't want to show too much, especially what could be on the line, what is on the line, even with Washington coming over loss. I mean, first place in the division is still on the line. So it's something interesting to see, nonetheless.
Yeah, no, I think there might be some validity to your point in that there's a big game on Thursday with a team that's healthier, and there's playoff and NFC East championship, aspirations with it, right?
So, I mean, for me, as far as I'm concerned, I think that this game on Thursday is for the division.
Exactly.
It's the biggest game of the season.
Exactly. So with that coming, you could see that they might be a little bit more vanilla. Only thing I would say is if that's the view that we have, it would be concerning that when they don't have much of a game plan, they revert to, what we've seen them do and then struggle with, right? And so for that second quarter, when we were, with our predictions, we had talked about, by the fourth quarter, it'll be like a Joel Embiid game from last year where they're not going to be playing. I was like, oh boy, like this might be another NFC East dogfight for no reason. Like Cooper rushes in and we might just play down to their level. And I was
the Kyle Lorton game.
Exactly. I was just, I was sick, man. But then, you see them come out of the half and even go in the second quarter, it wasn't even in the second quarter. It was the end of the second quarter. It was that last, how much time was left on the clock? I don't even remember. It was less than 2 minutes. You're going down the field, you're driving down the field, and they did it perfectly, and you see, you do the quick game, you take some easy completions and you can make things work and you can get even more openings on the run game. And it felt like they just were able to recenter themselves. And then they came out of the half a much different team. So, and that can be in half adjustments or whatever it might be. But, they gave me a heart attack for a second. You can't, this team was just not very good. On offense, they were just bad. Not very good. They were bad. They had 32 passing yards on the day.
Bro, in the third quarter, they had 3.
Yeah.
3 total yards of offense. The entire third quarter.
I mean, did you see the play calls, bro? I mean, I get it. Backup quarterback. And I mean, maybe Friday or so after the Washington game, if they don't piss me off too much, I'll take the time and go back and watch all 22 of what some of Cooper Rush's games look like last year. But I mean, you couldn't get the run game going, and you continue to I get the quick passing game. You want to keep your quarterback protected. But on some of the play calls that they call with the down and distances, it was just like, you got to give yourself a chance here, man. I'm like, you don't even look like you want to win.
It's tough, man. Yeah, like you said, with a backup quarterback, you never know. And yeah, I think it just comes down to them just like not knowing, like, what can we call here? What's he comfortable with? It's a whole adjustment, and the Cowboys just didn't look good with Dak in either. So it's. Like you said.
Yeah, but I guess that's one of the points that I wanted to get into on the pod, where it's like, this wasn't the Dallas Cowboys offense. I said it to you guys in the group chat, but I knew immediately, like, first and foremost, I seen them come out in pistol, and I was like, the Cowboys? Pistol? We sure? I mean, we talking about a Dallas Cowboys team who ran pistol. They ranked 31st in the league coming into this game with the amount they ran pistol. They don't run it. So it was like, y'all trying something new. That's why it didn't surprise me when the first snap, when they came out, it was a fumble, because it's like, y'all trying something new. I don't know if you practiced this week. Hopefully you did, but it's like, this isn't you. Outside of the pistol thing as well, we're talking about a Dallas Cowboy team. I believe they target the middle of the field. It was like 51 or 52% of the time under Dak Prescott. They showed you during the broadcast how Tony Romo said, well, if you want to beat this defense, you want to throw the ball to the middle of the field. And there was multiple plays, multiple different coverages where the Eagles literally left the middle of the field open and said, y'all not going to throw the ball there. We know you're not going to throw the ball there with him. It just wasn't the Dallas Cowboys offense. The offense that I prepared to watch all week, I was sitting here watching the game like, I'm baffled. This is confusing.
I don't know. It shows you the contrast between the two teams. Like, this is why Philadelphia puts as much, onus on the backup quarterback position as they do, because you let a guy like Cooper Rush get in there, and I mean, we all saw the result today. It wasn't, pretty.
Thing is that they have invested in the quarterback position. They just have invested poorly. I mean, they put their investment in, right? Trey Lance was their investment. That's who they thought could be a quarterback of the future if things don't work out with Dak down the line or whatever it might be. They took him on because they saw something in him, and maybe and it's not even necessarily on him, although what's been shown so far is not very good. It's also just development and the coaching staff, right, where they're just not doing enough to put these guys in winning positions. And like we said earlier, and they just didn't look good with Dak either. So what is this coaching staff really doing, right?
And to that development point, like, it's interesting when you consider the one time Cooper Rush has looked like a successful NFL quarterback has been under the tutelage of Kellen Moore. And today he looked as pedestrian as any quarterback you'd see in the league. Like, he looked like he didn't belong on an NFL football field.
It's funny you said that, because Mike McCarthy, I forgot what I was listening to this week when I heard it, but Mike McCarthy was asked somewhere along the line, I don't remember if it was this week or at some point leading up to this, about if he could do it all again, basically would he had hired Kellen Moore. But like, it wasn't black and white the question like that, but it was more so, would you have let Kellen Moore implement his offense instead of you trying to insert what you like to do when you immediately got here initially? And he was like, yeah, if I could do it all again, I probably would have did mine first and then probably like slow walk Kellen's in, because I mean, you end up in a situation like now where, like you said, he was successful under the tutelage of Kellen Moore, but Kellen Moore's gone now. And now it looked like they tried to go back to some of the same stuff that they did, the running game, but the running game didn't work. Well, at least the between the tackles running game didn't work. Off tackle was pretty well when they went to it, but the running game didn't work. They tried to get the quick passing game going, but the Eagles did a really good job, like they've done over the last month or so, with the tackling. It worked for him back then. Clearly, like you seen when he played Philadelphia the first time, which is why they were the first team he lost to. That kind of football wasn't going to work against this team. And we come back to the same imprint, and that kind of football didn't work against this team. So, I mean, I spoke last week, at least during the pregame or the preview pod, about how McCarthy's making chicken scratch with chicken. You know what? At this point, especially now playing with a backup quarterback in the game. And I mean, this honestly, it's kind of like you guys said early on in that podcast. This is kind of an indictment of Jerry Jones and the roster he's built coming into this season, where, I mean, you don't have a quality number 2 receiver. You don't have a solid running game. Your offensive line is a solid blend of people that's probably not going to be here next year. Zach Martin's a shell of himself, and rookies who just aren't there yet. And, I mean, you paid your quarterback, but what's a quarterback supposed to do, especially a quarterback in the metric of Dak Prescott? What's the quarterback supposed to do when he has nothing of what I just said? Like, you kind of set yourself back as a football team. So it's just a hard picture to paint with this Cowboys team, not just right now, but moving forward.
So, we talked about Jerry last time, and we're talking about him here a little bit. I just wanted to bring everyone's attention to a Jerry Jones quote from today. Because as you might have seen during the game, CD was trying to catch a touchdown. He unfortunately had my boy beat, CJ, GJ got his pick though, and he had a big hit to start the game. So we're just not going to talk about it. But anyways, he's wide open, misses the ball, and then complains about the sun. Then they go and put eye black on him to try to help, which, by the way, does not really help. Like it's really just for aesthetics. Eye black does not really help. They say it reflects the light, but like just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. Big Eye Black has a lot of money out there, and I think they've pushed this propaganda.
Big Eye Black is crazy.
Big Eye Black. Anyways, let me read the quote. So they basically asked him about the sun impacting play at AT&T Stadium. So he said, "By the way, we know where the sun is going to be when we decide to flip the coin or not. We do know where the damn sun is going to be in our own stadium." So then someone said, "Why not put curtains? Why not put curtains over the windows?" So Jerry said, "Well, let's tear the damn stadium down and build another one. Are you kidding me? Everybody has got the same issues. Everyone that comes in here has the same issues. I'm saying the world knows where the sun is. You get to know that almost a year in advance. Someone asked me about the sun. What about the sun? Where's the moon?"
That's extreme old man yells at clown energy.
Literally yells at clown is hilarious. He's like, "Where's the moon? Ask me about the sun. Where's the moon?"
It's hilarious because it's like, I mean, he's not wrong, but he's not right neither. He's like, I mean, Jerry, you can't say this.
You're right. You can't.
And even if you're gonna say it, you gotta say it. You gotta put this out to the public properly. Right now, like you said, it sounds like old man yelling at cloud. Because I mean, he's right. This is y'all stadium. Y'all play here y'all play here 8-9 weeks a season. Y'all probably have an open practice there. Who knows? Y'all probably walk through it on private days when you got a chance to, just to look at the sites. Point being, that's where you play at. You should know. It's kind of like the whole when it's a little turf monster on the field, and you like, well, this our stadium. We know where the turf monster is at. We're not gonna step on it. Or you're a basketball team. You know where your spot's at on your home court. Like basically, this is your advantage. At the same time, I mean, if your players are sitting there saying, "I can't see the ball," your star receiver that you pay all this money to, and your response to it is, "Well, can you see the damn moon?"
Can't they close the roof too? Isn't that a thing?
Yes.
I got no words, man. I got no words.
So where does Dallas go from here? Like, do you just tank the rest of the season? Do you try and see what you have in?
I don't know what Dak is thinking, saying, "I don't want to get surgery. I'm gonna try to come back this season." Brother, season's over.
Yeah.
Season
it's cooked,
is
brother.
done. It's cooked. Like you are out at least 5 weeks. Like with hamstring off the bone, bro. You sound like barbecue. Like you're not coming back and playing, dude. Like just
they gonna milk the situation until Thanksgiving because they gotta sell tickets.
Yeah,
they gotta make sure fans come.
You
gotta be at least a chance
lineup?
that Dak plays.
You saw the Thanksgiving lineup,
bro. Can they Can they flex any of those games out?
No.
Like since it's so far ahead of time.
Listen, bro. Just spend time with your family.
Because two of the teams are contractually obligated to play on that day. And the last game, I mean, who was the last game? I haven't seen the last game. I just know that the Bears,
the
Jets, and the who?
Classic. It might be Bengals.
No.
Patriots.
No.
Let me look it up.
It feels like that meme of the astronaut when he's banging on the window, like, no,
Dolphins, Packers, Bears, Lions, Giants, Cowboys.
Dolphins, Packers.
That's nasty.
I might actually watch that. That's.
Wait, is Jordan Love gonna be healthy?
He should be.
He should be. Didn't he get hurt that last game?
He played though.
Anyway,
right. Yeah. Let's get back to the Eagles. So, I mean, first half was weird. Second half, they finally get things going. It sucked to see the turnovers, man. I mean, they move past them, and things happen. But Jalen tried to force that ball into Goddard. It's not a great matchup having a corner on a receiver, even if it's Goddard.
I mean,
you got to put it outside more too. You You got to put it.
That corner wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah. Looking back at it, I don't know if I'd characterize it as him forcing it more so than it just being an amazing play by Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah. What do you think, Quell?
It's somewhere in between where Jalen, if you're gonna make that throw, you got to put the ball in a specific spot.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, Trayvon wasn't supposed to be there. That wasn't even his man. It's kind of like once you've seen the replay of it, he baited Jalen into that throw. He
did. So, but I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell if. I couldn't tell if that's like where he was supposed to be in the first place, and he just was, delaying a little bit.
No, that wasn't his spot.
Yeah,
that was. Just a good football
regardless, like you said, if you're throwing it to the back of the end zone, throw it high and away. Where anyone could be. So that should just like.
And then even on that play, more so than anything, I'd rather him be early than kind of. I'm not to say that he was late, but I'd rather him kind of be early on that throw than anything.
Johnny Wilson touchdown.
I was about to say, speaking of high and late or high and away, Johnny Wilson for a touchdown.
That was
he's a skyscraper,
a mammoth, man.
Big boy.
They talking about some. You would think he's a tight end. Yeah. Look at how big he was. He just even last week when he had his almost touchdown. It was like, look at this big body in the back of the end zone. How do you not want to throw a pass there? How do you miss that target?
I know, right? Like those reps in the summer in Texas with Jalen or in Cali, wherever they were, they must have meant a lot, man, because Jalen I was talking to my brother about this. Jalen has trusted him a lot this year. Like just early on, he's been willing to throw him the ball, even before he was willing to throw Jahan the ball. Like he was willing to throw Johnny Wilson the ball.
I'm about to say, you know who else he trusted today?
Jahan
Dotson.
Yes.
Finally.
I told y'all why. Oh, I haven't said it publicly, but I told y'all why. We getting slowly but surely. The matchup is Thursday against his former team, Jahan Dotson. Anytime, if y'all think that ain't gonna be the Q-tip or a Q-tip, Jahan Dotson anytime touchdown. True. I mean, they have proven we want to actively get these players the ball.
Nick Sirianni coach team, you can book it, boy. You can book it. They will force him the ball at like a cost to the team to get him a touchdown. Like Nick Sirianni will get him a touchdown. Book it. That's a great Q-tip.
So speaking of Thursday, we talked about how their kind of offensive approach coming into the game, it was kind of more vanilla. One of the things that I also noticed was kind of not necessarily the lack of Saquon, but just like how, we talked about on the preview pod, just how much they have been utilizing him and the amount of touches that he'd gotten and the amount of snaps he's played. Today he had 14 carries, 66 yards, 4.7 yards a carry, and just one catch for 12 yards. So I think it was good for them to kind of, I don't want to say get him.
Do you think that
the injury,
alleged wrist injury played into?
Yeah, that's what my question would be about it, right? Like he on the Jalen Hurts fumble, he comes up kind of clutching his left hand wrist. Then he was with the trainers, and then he was just like on the sideline. So it's probably one of those cases. It's probably somewhere in the middle, like we just talked about, where it's probably a little bit hurt. He could go if it's like a close game against. If it was Washington, he'd be going, right? But this game, you mix in some Kenny Gainwell, who looked explosive, by the way. Thank you very much. Everyone hates on my guy. Everyone hates Kenny G. All right, not you. I'm talking about Twitter. I'm not talking about you. You're part of the gang. You're part of the gang. Don't worry. Pierre's on the outside. On the outside looking in, like Squidward watching the SpongeBob. That's what it is. That spin move, I almost thought it was Saquon on the field for a second.
I was like, he was taking notes.
I'm like, he been watching Saquon. He been watching.
That was good, man. So but you're right. It was good to just see him, regardless of what it was like, just half as many carries as last week, less than half. He had 30 carries last week. So
because they're gonna need him on Thursday. They're gonna need him on Thursday. I know. I saw. I was looking. I kind of just before the preview pod on Thursday, I was kind of looking into the Commanders' stats, and I know that against Baltimore, Derrick Henry, I think he had 24 carries, 123 yards, and that was one of the games. One of the three games that they lost this year. So Saquon, I think he's gonna be huge on Thursday.
Commanders almost beat themselves today.
Yeah.
Like that last drive was ugly, man. Like 3 unforced penalties. I was just like, dude, what are y'all doing, man? But yeah, it'll be an interesting game for sure. So who are your guys' like, players of the game? I feel like even on offense, it was well distributed, but I feel like it's got to be Jalen, right? 4 total touchdowns. And what I wanted to also bring up was how he did against the blitz. And I had it up, and of course I lost it as soon as I wanted to bring it up. Let me pull it up. But against,
while you look for that, just on Jalen, it was really encouraging to see him kind of settle in after the first few drives where he looked extremely jittery, kind of, his eyes were all over the place. He was able to, be effective both through the air and on the ground. I thought he looked kind of reminiscent of not 2022 Jalen, but 2021 Jalen. I thought he looked reminiscent of 2021 Jalen on the ground. I think you saw the agility, the burst, especially on what was it 26 yards?
Man, he is so difficult.
Yeah.
In press conferences, I was just listening before we got on. So you guys, did we discuss the Nick Sirianni like slip up with the ankle or whatever in the press conference?
I don't think we didn't.
Yeah. So right. So he's like, yeah, he's like, so
this is just a rest day.
Jalen, they asked Jalen, someone asked him, he's like, did it look like it hurt? Then he asks a follow up. He's like, y'all watched the whole game. Did it look like it hurt? Just deadpan again. And I'm like, dude, you are so difficult, man. Like, just like, oh man, it's like pulling teeth. Right? Did it look like it hurt? I guess not.
That's the Nick Saban.
I'm not gonna hold you.
It is the Nick Saban.
It's sitting there listening to that moment. All I can hear was, "Do it look like I got left off bad and bougie?"
Who said I got left off bad bougie?
Like, what you mean? Stop playing. Whatever you talking about, it never happened. Stop it. Cut it out.
All right. So I got the statistics. So we know all the talk last year about Jalen versus the blitz and all those types of things. So he was pressured on over half of his dropbacks against the Cowboys. 53.6% of the snaps they pressured him. He finished 7 of 9 for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Where the sacks at?
They didn't put the sacks in here, so
the people want to know where the sacks at. Because I was about to say, I mean, we can all lollygag and talk about how beautiful it was to beat the hell out of the Cowboys because Dave Chappelle meme. You guys know what I'm about to say, whatever. But at the end of the day, we could also had a conversation about Jalen Hurts and would look like him. I mean, you can make the argument after the interception, he played it, quote unquote, played it safe. Or you can look at it as he was kind of struggling or wasn't quite sure what he was saying against this Dallas defense on the back end, which led to multiple sacks, particularly in the first half. Are you a bit concerned from how you seen the Dallas defense play this Philly offense? Or do you think a lot of the success they had defensively comes down to the vanilla offense that they used?
I think it's 2 things. I think Fred Johnson looked good against Micah early on, and then they started moving Micah around. Micah started winning his matchups, and Micah Parsons was Micah Parsons.
To your point right quick, you right. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't even just Micah. Demario Overshown? What's his name, right? He also was really good.
He was all over the place. Bro, that kid is nice.
It seems like with Jalen, oftentimes what he tries to do is he tries to like out athletic edge rushers and outside linebackers, and it's like when you're playing kind of these miniature speed rush, very 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 fast guys at those positions, you kind of can't do that. So I kind of think, like you said, the way they played them that contributed to it, but also like you said, the sort of vanilla, heavily leaning on explosives, that kind of, I think that contributed to it as well.
I think that's part of what it is he looked like he was looking for answers back there, which is why the numbers on how he did against the blitz were kind of surprising when I went through them, because early on in the game, it didn't feel like that, right? And so I think the sacks come into that, like you were saying, Quell. And he just looked uneasy and erratic in the pocket. It didn't look like he had a plan when he was moving through the pocket. And I think a representation of that would be look at any of his scrambles in the first quarter, first half, versus his scramble on the throw to Johnny Wilson, right? That touchdown throw. He had direction when he was going through the pocket. He knew what he was doing. He was decisive. He wasn't just kind of ducking around, like you said, trying to out athletic people. Put his foot in the dirt. And like we've talked about before, he's not Lamar when he runs the ball. He's more of a Derrick Henry style runner, right? Where
ask Jordan Lewis. Ask Jordan Lewis.
Right.
Somebody need to scrape that. Somebody need to scrape that boy up off the AT&T turf.
Pick your man's up.
And Overshot too. That the stiff arm by Saquon was crazy, bro. He just grabbed him and put him in the ground. That man is so. Also, I mean, sorry, this is off topic, but if we're talking about stiff arms, that throw by Baker,
unreal.
Did y'all see that?
Unreal.
That
just
was crazy.
unreal.
He had two of those right after.
And
they
it
were
just
like,
absolutely pissed me off as an Ohio State fan. I already, I keep my distance from the Bosa because, other metrics. But, the fact that Baker Mayfield, the man that while you was there, came into your stadium, beat your team, planted the flag of his team into the field. And every time you see him, it's supposed to be beef, war, on site, and you let him just absolutely punk you like that. It's just,
wait, I
don't want to hear about no defensive players.
Players to be like friendly. I thought players should be like friends off the field, like Micah and Slay, and get on each other.
I said on the field, and on the field, you should have punished him every single time you see him.
We know why the Bosas didn't punish Baker. We all know why. We know why. We don't got to go no deeper into it. We know
one of the good ones.
He's one of the good guys. One of the guys you bring. One of the guys you want your daughters to bring home. One of the good guys. Not like those other ones. Not like the other ones.
Oh man.
No,
but go on.
Unreal. But just like you was about to say, that Saquon stiff arm, brother. Talk about angry runs and bringing the juice. And not even just a stiff arm. He finished it with a shoulder to the
bro.
Who was?
It's every week. He's so violent.
Even in the limited, I don't know if that's the right word to characterize it, but the limited action we did see Saquon, you still saw the dominance that is Saquon.
That run that was almost a touchdown.
Yeah,
bro. I thought it was like, oh, great. All right, he threw the check down. Fine, I'll take it. He threw the check down. Whatever, you live to play another day, take the field goal, don't do something stupid. Saquon takes it like 9 yards, makes two guys tackle each other. I'm like, bro, what just happened? And then I thought it for sure was going to be a Jahan hold. I was like, oh, they definitely got Jahan on the hold right there. Just like the way that the flag came in right there, like penalty on the defense. Okay, I'll take that.
But it goes back to what I said. I think it was 2 pods ago. Like, the dude is a legit threat to score whenever he touches the ball. He has the ball in his hands. It's gonna be something positive.
It's crazy the Eagles have 2 borderline 3 of those players, because AJ is like that too. That's what we've said about AJ, and we've gotten so spoiled with Saquon this year that I feel like AJ is just kind of become an understatement. But that's how AJ is too. You know what I mean? Like that crosser, he almost he beats one more guy, and that's a touchdown too, right? So, we have a lot of special players on this team, and we've seen Smitty do that too. So, just fun team. All right, that's a good question by Biscuit here. What grade are we giving Sirianni today? How are y'all feeling today after this game?
He didn't do nothing obnoxious. He didn't have any mind-boggling in-game decisions. So I think I'd give him an A+. You won 34-6. You didn't fumble any field goal or 2-point conversion or 4th down calls.
Anytime you can play your second string quarterback in the 4th quarter in a good way, it's a W. But I'm sorry, before
by the way, before
you talk about the kicker thing?
No, before you go, Parth. Kenny Pickett, Jalen Hurts has to stay healthy. Kenny Pickett is atrocious. Like,
Dude, and no. Listen, if Jalen Hurts gets injured, Kenny Pickett is not playing. It's Tanner McKee time, baby.
I mean, I hope so because Kenny Pickett, that boy not good, man.
Hashtag not good, you could say.
Not good, bro.
Nah, that's even worse, Parth. That's even worse. If you ever wonder what was below hashtag not good, it's that boy not good.
That boy not good, bro.
That boy is not good. Like he literally, you can hear the concern in his voice. Like if he got to play,
we
might got cancer for the rest of the year.
It's Jover for real, bro.
But sorry, before you go, Quell, if we're talking about other teams as we were just a second ago, brother, Deebo Samuel, you are a hashtag bad teammate. My God, dude, like grabbing him in the face. I didn't see the whole video. I'm
saying if Deebo Samuel played for the Eagles and Jake Elliott missed 3 kicks and whatever the long snapper did, I don't think the long snapper. I don't know how he got involved in it, but
he hit the long snapper first. That's why.
I'm saying why did he hit the long
why
snapper?
He hit the long snapper?
He's so angry, bro.
He was there, and you his man, so you got to deal with it. I think that was the case.
That's really what it was. He's like, y'all are always together, aren't you?
If this was an Eagles player and that happened, you would be the first person sitting here saying, you know what? I understand it. I get it.
No. Dude, you can't hit your teammate. I'm sorry. Like, you can be mad. You could even go as far as putting a finger in his face and be like, make your kick. You can't grab your teammate's face and push 2 of them. That's nuts. Dude. That is that. And then the long snapper was so mad. I didn't see the full video. My brother was watching it live. He was chasing him down the sideline and had to be held back by people. Like, that is.
Wait, the long snapper was chasing Deebo?
Yes, bro. He was chasing Deebo. It was crazy. Like, just. What are y'all doing, man? Like, just come on. Like, obviously, Jake Moody, make your kicks, bro. Make your kicks, man. Come on. But like, dude, you can't hit your kicker. Like, that's nuts.
Never go full Michael Jordan.
It's not even just Michael Jordan. I mean, sometimes productive. You heard what happened to the last guy that kicked the kicker?
Antonio?
Urban Meyer? You saw Urban Meyer?
Yeah, I guess it would be Urban.
That's a champion when it all calls.
Antonio killed the punter, not a kicker. So that's my mistake.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to the kickers, you know.
God bless, dude. Nasty work.
Oh man, nah, you right. You're completely right. That horrible teammate, horrible, and I mean, just
and then he makes the kick. Then he makes the kick to win the game. What are you doing in the locker room, bro?
You can't even congratulate him.
My bad. Yo, my bad, bro.
Sorry,
my fault. That's my bad.
My bad, bro. That was a good kick, man.
That's what happened earlier. Don't mind that. Pardon me. I was. what's the odd truth? My bad. My fault, y'all. That was me.
Oh my gosh.
That's about all you can do.
Since we're talking about other teams, before we get on the back on the Eagles topic, can we talk about the Chiefs and their black devil magic that they have going on?
Come to a head next week. They play the Steelers.
I hope so.
We're either all going to be sucked into a black hole, as I saw on Twitter, or we will
Side note, Sixers are playing right now. Jared McCain is cooking, brother.
Yeah, he had like 16.
Jared McCain is cooking, brother.
Talking about some cooking.
Pull up 3 in transition.
I had the game up.
We are losing now, brother. When I had the game pulled up,
we losing.
Up.
I swear we're winning. We're losing.
I don't know. My screen say 89-88.
89-88.
Yeah.
I thought it was. Don't that say 66-80?
Oh, brother. Pierre's behind in the game again.
Wait.
He is never on time in the game.
We up 91-89.
Pierre is regularly like
Pierre
20 minutes behind the stream. I don't know how you do that, bro.
Jared McCain 3-point shot.
It's got to mean you don't press watch from live. It's got to mean you just started from the beginning.
Okay, I take back what I just said. Jared McCain is cooking. He now leads the team in points with 23. Let's go.
Yeah.
Cooking. Now
I don't know if he gets traded either, just because like most of those They locked Trey Murphy up in a contract that's going to make it hard for us to trade for him. So
If there's
I don't
a
know.
if
It could
there's
just
a
be a Sixer, which I'm very okay with.
yeah, if there's a trade, I think it's gonna be like what's the dude? KJ Martin and like Jeff Doughton and Eric Gordon with picks or something like that.
Yeah,
You playing?
that could work. Eric Gordon
You're
has money.
playing Eric
Tradable
Gordon
money.
is traded. Eric Gordon is a thing.
That boy stinks. He is
Yeah, he gonna
god
keep getting
awful.
played too.
He is definitely going to keep playing
17 minutes.
because Nick Nurse just wants to play old players as much as Doc Rivers. My God, dude, the man drives me nuts. But at least he's not acting like Jared McCain has to be benched.
This is Eric Gordon's stat line for tonight. 17 minutes, 0 of 2 field goals, 0 of 2 threes, 0 rebounds, 2 assists, 0 points.
That's better than I thought. That is better than I thought.
Paul George got 8 assists, man.
Paul George, bro, what? I am so happy we get to watch Paul George.
I'm sorry, 9. We just
it's just so fun to watch him play. Like just Hooper.
Paul George is point guard.
I ain't gonna lie. Since he's on the Sixers, like I kind of see
Caleb
why
Martin's hitting threes now that he's playing his brother. I love it.
With PG, I kind of see why all the young kids love him. Like the way he plays ball is so pure and smooth.
It's aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say
it's like how we felt about T-Mac.
Yeah, like I feel the same way. Like just watching Paul George play, it's been fun for years. You know what I mean? And even like indie Paul George, like he was just hooping, bro. Like he has one of those games where he could be old and he'll still be cooking in the gym. You know what I mean? Like not necessarily like an NBA level, but like he just has a smooth game.
LA fitness runs.
He'll be cooking. I'm telling you, he'll be 50 still cooking, dudes.
Oh man, pure jump shot.
Pure jump shot and just like silky smooth handles, man.
Okay, anyways. y'all should boo you.
Huh?
Yabusele? What you trying to say, Quell?
Yeah, that he got an offensive rebound and missed a shot.
18 points.
He's been really good, bro.
Yeah,
he's been legit.
He's not being good right now. We needed that. We need to put them away.
Better than
stressing me out.
All right, it's a minute left. Podcast
it's
people.
24 seconds left.
All right, okay, so I'm behind too. I'm making fun of Pierre, and I'm 25 seconds behind. This is embarrassing. This happened on screen. On stream, dude. All of America has seen this now. America knows I'm behind in the game.
That's a great question. We're going to get to your question in a second, Biscuit. We got to make sure the Sixers don't sell.
13 seconds.
13.3 seconds.
What's going on, man? Na, 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 na.
In the meantime. Oh. Okay.
All right. I will. I did they sell it or what happened?
Yeah, they had the free throw line knocking them down.
All right. Well, I'll continue to podcast in the meantime. I'll answer Biscuit's question. Who is the bigger pickup coach, Vic or Kellen? It's a good question. I think at this point in the season, I gotta say Vic, man. Just the type of defensive performances we've been seeing on a consistent basis at this point. Now that it's been what 4 weeks since the bye? 5 weeks?
4 weeks.
4 weeks. 4 weeks since the bye. Quell predicted 4-0. Hats off to him. Credit where credit is due. I mean, brother, we said it. They had 3 yards in the third quarter. They had 34 passing yards all game. Like this is not the first game like that. It's been multiple games where they just are not allowing touchdowns in this 4-game stretch. And that's not easy to do in the NFL. And to do it week after week, I mean, that makes it even more impressive. So as fun as the offense has looked recently, and you can definitely see the growth there. And I think this has been a good hire. And if we continue to see more of the offense like we saw at the end of the half and in previous weeks, I think it'll be really good for Jalen's growth. But to this point, man, Vic Fangio has just put on a coaching masterclass.
Yeah, granted, you played Cooper Rush, who, quite literally had the worst performance of any starting quarterback in NFL this year, but they just continue to look extremely sound and like a cohesive unit. Like they just continue to do, all the little stuff, like the fundamental stuff very, very well, which is a far cry from, the first few weeks of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Shil Kapadia had this stat, I have it pulled up here. Based on EPA per drive, this was the best defensive performance by any team in the game this season. And I don't think it's like yeah. And I don't think it's any better encapsulated by any stat other than the one you just mentioned, Parth. Like 3 total yards in an entire quarter. Like, granted, again, you play Cooper Rush, who was terrible today, but like anytime you can hold an NFL offense to that little production, it's amazing, man.
And I think it goes beyond this week. Like today, I mean, we can talk about today though. Quinyon was targeted. This is from Shane Half. Quinyon was targeted.
Wait before you give his stats. I'm starting this as a segment. Official Quinyon Mobe stats of the week. Like
Quinyon Mobe. Well, this has the milk missile in it as well. So I'll give both their stats. I mean, how the hell did the NFL let this happen, bro? Like we go from being in a DB drought.
I'll tell you how. They saw a cornerback from Toledo, and they saw. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say it. They saw a white corner, and they don't like,
oh my gosh,
yeah, that's how.
Let me just and again, just before I even get into the stats, that one-on-one tackle, Cooper on CeeDee Lamb, maybe I think it was third quarter or something, just encapsulates the player, bro. He's there right away, wraps him up. CeeDee's trying to get away, break away like he does from everyone in this league. And Coop had him wrapped up. It's so fun to watch. So
yeah, CeeDee, you can't run it hard in the slot no more, my boy.
No, sir. Avonte Maddox is not there. Bro, he almost had that fumble recovery too, but his alligator arms didn't let him get it.
Bro, Vic keep trying to sneak him on the field every week, bro.
You gotta stop. Put Sidney Brown there, brother, please. Anything but Avonte Maddox, brother, please. Anyways, so Quinyon Mitchell was targeted 4 times and forced a tight window on 3 of those 4 targets. Cooper DeJean allowed a catch rate over expectation of only. I can't tell if this is supposed to be minus 22.9% or 22.9%, and it's a typo. Either way, extremely low, 22.9 being the percentage, and allowing 5 yards on 5 total targets. A yard per target, dude?
Can we talk about this? Like, I was listening to the PHLY postgame show before we started recording, and they were talking about how different this Eagles team is from most Eagles teams, specifically on defense. Like, if you look at Eagles rosters over the past 3-4 seasons, they're built from the trenches. Like the defensive line, that's where they make their money at. Versus this team, the secondary is quite literally the best part of this defense. Like, you look at Cooper, you look at Quinyon, you got Slay. Chauncey had a pick today. Reed, he's a steady hand, on the back end. So, like, let's just talk about that for a little minute.
I wouldn't say the secondary is the flashiest part of the defense, especially because it's new. But I do think that was the whole point of why I kept pushing week 9, because there were weeks where you'd see, honestly, the defensive line played a lot better than what was going on in the back end. And there were weeks where the back end kind of saved the defensive line. Versus what we see right now is it's kind of like a beautiful marriage. The defensive line is doing what they need to do. And
bro, the Hornets tied the game.
Yes. And you know why? Because Kyle Lowry missed a free throw.
He's been missing so many free throws, bro.
And LaMelo made a 22-footer.
Okay. You
can continue, Quell, about your point.
Yeah, go back.
Oh, what was I saying? I hate this.
This is truly where the pulse of Philadelphia sports lives. That is what is called a heart palpitation. The heart stopped and then had to try to restart itself. This is gross, dude. The Sixers just piss me off, dude. Stop it, LaMelo.
Every single time, man. Every single time. What was I saying?
You were talking about
the marriage between the secondary and D-line.
Right now, it's a bit of a perfect marriage where the defensive line is doing actually a pretty good job of heating some of these quarterbacks up, while at the same time, you see some of these sacks that they're getting, and they're clearly coverage sacks, because what's going on the back end is they've done their job. So just to see how well they work together is kind of what excites me the most about the defense. That's kind of what makes Vic the biggest pickup for me, because it's like offensively, with at least how I put it for the question, the Eagles' offense wasn't cohesive yesterday. I mean, last year it wasn't bad. It just wasn't cohesive. I mean, when you look at some of the statistics, they ranked at or near the top of the league, and so a bunch of them, it just didn't feel like it when you watched the football team.
Yeah.
Versus the defense was literally historically bad. They were terrible, and now this defense isn't just watchable, but it's one of the defenses, if not the best defense in football. I believe I seen the other day that they are the best defense in football since, what was it, week 3? So just encouraging to see exactly what they put in place on that side of the ball and how cohesive everything has become over time.
I agree. The cohesiveness is just that's what makes it so fun to watch, right? That they're working together so well. But I would push back and with on you, Quell, and agree with Pierre in that I think the defensive backfield is definitely the strength of this team. And it just comes down to, who we've seen impact plays from today. And that's what I also wanted to highlight on defense. Jalen Carter took over this game
he was a monster, bro.
He was they couldn't stop him.
And it's not going to show up. It's not going to show up in the stat sheet, but like against the run, like pressure in the pocket, I think he had half a sack.
I mean,
it's like
all over the place.
Yeah, like we talked about before the season with him, the biggest thing with him was consistency. Him being able to, stack games, be able to show up for all, 60 minutes? 60 minutes of a football game.
Oh, buddy.
Like
he's in basketball mode. He's in basketball mode.
Yeah, bro. I got a game teed up right here.
No,
wait, let's listen in.
You're gonna get us kicked off, man.
No, we're not. I'm not showing it. It's just the audio. PG.
No. We go into overtime.
All right.
Okay, so PG. Oh no, that was painful. That was painful.
I'm not sure if you guys seen the face as slow as it went down when the shot went up. His face was like, in the split second, the slowest time.
My game is still behind. I don't know what YouTube TV is doing. But yeah, Pierre, to your point, he stacked multiple games like this. And I also just wanted to give a shout out to your city's boy, Nolan Smith. He's been showing up today, and he was disruptive today, and so was Josh Sweat. And I think those three guys have been, the main three. I think that we've seen the most. Then you see Milton Williams and Moro Ujima.
Milton looked good today, man.
He did.
He looked really good today.
He looked explosive as well. So I think
how can we talk about this defense without mentioning the man of the hour? Well, give it to him. The names.
There's so many. I don't know where you want me to start.
No, the names. The names.
No, the names. The names. Bond. Zach Bond.
I mean, what can you like?
Hour.
What can you say, bro? Like he was.
I hope they remade the accountability group chat, bro. I hope they remade it. Took Devin out of there, added Zach in there. You think maybe they kept the same one, just deleted him and then added in Zach's number? Who knows?
It is like every time I looked up and the Eagles were on defense. Maybe, yeah, that would explain him liking
his phone said you can leave.
Yeah, but
tweeting it.
Every time I looked up, like Zach Bond was making the play. Like I think I have his stats here: 8 tackles, a tackle for a loss, 2 forced fumbles. Like the way he's played since the bye week, not even since the bye week, since the really start of the season, like even week 1 in Sao Paulo, like he has to be in like all pro conversation.
So, Quell, before you go, let me pose something for y'all. So in the group chats, you know how it goes. One of my friends said the same type of thing. And then said, I don't know if the Eagles can afford Bond at this point. What? So right. So, I mean, I have my questions about that, but given how the Eagles have prioritized linebackers in the past, right? I mean, TJ Edwards went to Chicago. We've seen these types of things. You can't blame Eagles fans for being a little bit broken about this, paying linebackers and stuff. But My response to that was, I don't think so, and I also think he's going to want to come back. I think
So
Vic Fangio
here's
is the guy. So sorry, just
yeah.
one thing. So Vic Fangio is the guy who saw that, this guy can play linebacker. I mean, he was like an edge rusher at Wisconsin and all these different types of things. So Olivia Reiner asked Zach Bond why Philly has been the right fit for him beyond just the opportunity to start. So he said, I compare it a lot to the time I transferred high schools. I was kind of uncomfortable in my old high school, kind of stood out. And when I transferred, I felt like I could be myself and be me. And that's exactly how I feel with this team. They embraced me so much. The coaches, the players, the cafeteria staff, everyone just accepted me like a big family. The people in the building made it really easy for me to transition here. So it sounds like he loves his place. You have a coach who saw something in you that the rest of the league didn't see. I tend to think that there's motivation for him to want to stay in Philadelphia.
Yeah, so for me, like just as a first point here, as long as Howie Roseman is the Eagles GM, I'm not going to worry about cap room and contract amounts and money and all those things. I'm not gonna worry about that. But just on not worry about that. But just on Zach, like I think, like I talked about the last pod, like the comfortability level that he has in this system, and then like you talked about Parth, like Vic Fangio is the reason he's here. He, had a vision. He saw the type of player he was, and was like, hey, this is a guy that I want in my defense. Like, and Vic's, I always go back to Vic's first press conference when he met Philadelphia media. Like, he talked about using Zach as an inside backer, which is something that he hadn't done, prior to his career. Prior to his career in the NFL, right? So, like,
by the way, you can read a great article about that by Pierre on the PhillyBlitz.com.
Yeah, but yeah, like that's why I think I don't think it's gonna be real like hassle getting him to stay here. Like number one, Howie Roseman, and then two, just the overall comfortability that he has in this system. Like he really does look like a hand in glove fit.
I mean, I guess to me it kind of comes down to he's pretty scheme specific.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could try. Even I do believe Howie and company will take care of him in the long run in general. I do think it would always been a conversation of, go ahead, go test the market, see who will pay you and how much they'll pay you.
So you don't
but
think
I don't think you'll be valued there how you're valued here.
Do you think a midseason extension could be on the horizon, or do you think, like you said, it's going to be something where they let him test the market?
Not quite sure. That is honestly a good question. You would think, with how good he's playing right now, it's something you want to get done immediately because the price is doing nothing but going up. At the same time, when you have the conversation like we just had a second ago of, well, what is the price, and what do you think the price would be elsewhere, or can I set my own price? Is the conversation. So. Pierre?
What are you thinking, Pierre?
I mean, I don't know. Like, it depends on what the market is. Like, I gotta do research into like the inside linebackers across the NFL, what their market is. Like, I know like a guy like Jerome Baker. What did he go for when he signed with Tennessee? Isn't that where he signed?
Look it up.
Yeah, I know he was a guy that's had success in Fangio's defense last year in Miami. So I don't know. I think it just depends. Number one, on the market, what his asking price is. But again, like I said, like
1 year, $7 million with a $4 million signing bonus, $6 million guaranteed, but that was with Seattle. So
okay, yeah, but I mean, even Zach's contract this year, it's what, 1 year, $1.6 million. So like, if you extend him, say like 3 years, $20 million, that's what,
less than
little under $7 million a year. Like that isn't breaking the bank, I don't think.
Yeah. Do you add the $2 million from this year onto that then? Like, would he get more money this year? Because if it was 20 million more, right? Oh, it was over 3 years, you said?
Yeah. 3 years, 20 million. Yeah. Like, to me, that isn't breaking the bank. Like,
right.
Yeah.
And a 3-year deal with Howie, we always know how he likes to,
front load
it or push it back depending on how you're playing or, what it looks like the team might need. So And it'll just be something interesting to monitor as the season goes on, because yeah, it's been so fun to just see strong linebacker play, dude. It's been so long since the Eagles have had this. I mean,
Since the linebacker position was a strength on this team.
Seriously.
Exactly. It's like, and I mean, just not even just the linebacker position. I tweeted this earlier, but I mean, of course, we see the love that we give Q and Coop. But I mean, we got a Johnny Wilson touchdown, man. We got Jalen Hunt making significant.
Oh yeah. Take your moment about Jalen Hunt, please. Please.
Jalen
Take
Hunt.
a moment.
I
A little
stay
strip
down on Jalen Hunt.
Man. From Josh Huff too, or Bryce Huff? I keep doing it.
My boy sat up.
Again.
My boy sat up for the Jalen Hunt conversation.
I stay down on Jalen Hunt, man, because I mean, I feel like it's so much more. It's so much more he can show. It's so much more that he can bring to this defense. Like, I mean, like I said in the article, like I spoke about all off season long, what he's bringing to this defense right now is literally the bare minimum of what he'll ever bring to this defense. He's just scratching the surface of how good he could be as long as everything goes according to plan. But just Jalen Hunt and significant snaps he's getting, we were literally just Jeremiah Trotter making a big play in the game away from Howie Roseman being able to pop some champagne. Like, every single player I drafted made a play in this game. Like, how do you feel if you're this Eagles team, man? And I mean, I think I seen it somewhere the other day. This Eagles team is the third or fourth youngest roster in football. Like, just the complete overturn we've seen of this roster over the last 3 years or so. How does this make you feel when you compare this roster to some of the other rosters across the league that are in position to make significant impacts, specifically across the NFC? You look at what's going on in Washington, you look at what's going on in Detroit, you look at what's going on, despite how wicked the day was today in Minnesota. Just what's going on across the league? How do you compare this Birds roster up to some of the other teams, man?
I think they're finally putting it together. At the beginning of the year, or not even the beginning of the year, before the year started, we were talking about this as one of the best, as maybe the best roster in the NFC, should be one of the best teams in the NFC. And we mentioned that, you know, it takes time to adjust to a first year coordinator, and there's these types of adjustments. Beginning of the season, first game, it looked like, oh, there might not be adjustments. There might not be an adjustment period. And then second game came, and then we were a little bit back to reality. But now that we're at the point we're at, I think I think we just kind of are realizing that this team is as talented as we thought, and they should go as far as we thought. And we said at the beginning of the season that, like, you know, not getting to the NFC Championship is probably a failure for this team inside the building as well. That's probably where their aspirations lie. And I think, given how they've played over this 4-game stretch against, you know, both bad competition and good competition, I think that should be the standard, and that should be the expectation as well.
Yeah, man. I mean, I echo, you know, your sentiments. Like you said, like, you know, inside the building, anything less than an NFC Championship appearance, like, especially after how last year ended, like, I think, you know, that's the goal. Like, and that should be the goal. And, you know, the way they've played over the past 4 weeks, like, you know, that's the standard. Like, that's what you want to see, you know, the defense, you know, them gelling, you know, them continuing to do all the, you know, little things, the fundamental things, you know, well, the offense, you know, them, you know, finding their identity, you know, and, you know, being who they're supposed to be, you know, relying on their stars. So I think, you know, like you said, like, this is the standard, what we've seen over the last 4 weeks.
So before we get out of here, at least on my front, I'll pass it to you guys and see if you guys got anything. We had a conversation early in the year. You guys said the standard this NFC Championship game about how there's a chance this team could lose in the divisional round. It just depends on who the opponent would be. At the point in time when we said that, we would think Detroit, San Francisco, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward to current day NFC, based on how everything has fallen, is there an opponent outside of Detroit, at least, that you could say that they'd run into in the second round and be able to lose, and it wouldn't be viewed as a disappointment?
No.
I mean, it's always any given Sunday, anytime you touch NFL field. But outside of Detroit, I mean, you look at Minnesota, they've kind of cooled off. San Francisco, like we just talked about, Debo's about to choke the long snapper. Like
the thing is
there
with all
isn't.
those other teams, there's a flaw, right?
Yeah.
There's like something that you can point to that's like, okay, like you should beat them because of this, right? But with Detroit and the Eagles rosters, it's two of those kind of rosters where it's just like there's not that many weak spots, right? And Detroit, in the same way that the Eagles have just kind of been able to, they've been just pulling out W's, and you don't want to put too much into that. Like, we could have last year when the Eagles were 10-1, but were not as good as they were, or as good as their record showed. But they have just won games in a litany of ways, and when you continue to do that year after year, and you kind of have the trajectory that they have, you can look at them as they're probably the best team in the NFC right now. Just because of the continuity with offensive coordinator and everything like that. That means a lot, right? So that team, I think it's acceptable. Like Pierre said, any given Sunday, and you never know what the game looks like, right? Like if you lose on a walk-off Hail Mary, or you maybe there's conversations because, hey, the game shouldn't have been that close depending on who the opponent is. Those types of things matter as well. But the Eagles they're damn good, man, and the expectation is that just you're going to win the big games, right? You got to win the big games when they count. That's why there's all this money invested into this team. So, yeah, I think we just we got to see, and it'll of course depend on the situation. But besides Detroit right now, man, I don't know if I could see another team them be able to lose to and then still, keep everything together, whether that's for better or for worse, and maybe by the end of the year, as things kind of progress and we see the way that this team continues to play together, it might change up a little. We just see, hey, like they're really gelling, but they just have not had enough time. Maybe that's the case, and something changes. But yeah, the Lurie has kind of shown in the past that, like, hey, we want to win, and especially with a roster like this, we know that they're on thin ice. So it'll just be interesting to see what happens.
So just as a last point before we get out of here, looking ahead to Washington, who we've talked about throughout this pod, but they lost today. For all intents and purposes, at least as far as how I'm considering it, this is the biggest game of the season on Thursday night.
Did y'all think that was a first down? Sorry.
No.
The Ertz catch? No, I didn't either.
I didn't think so.
It was.
But yeah.
But he ruined
I don't
it.
think.
If he would have caught it and fell down where he caught it, yeah. But
it's because he dipped backwards, and it was weird. Yeah, it was one of those where I just couldn't tell. Sorry, Pierre, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, but like as far as I'm concerned, this game is for the division. Like, Washington, they lost to Pittsburgh and they lost to Baltimore, two teams the Eagles still have to play. Who else did Washington lose to? Who they lose to week 1? New England? No, Tampa Bay. Yeah, we don't play them this year, but no, like as far like I said, as far as I'm
erasure in history is nasty.
We already played them and we lost.
We did. Oh, bro,
yeah, we don't play them this year.
Literally was just Jalen Hurts doesn't have to play top balls this year. Like, that's not gonna happen.
That game never happened. But no, how are y'all feeling? How are y'all feeling heading into that game?
I think it's going to be a hell of a game. That's how I feel, man. I think the Commanders, like, they have the ability to just kind of stay in games, like, just ugly, no matter how they need to do it. They figure out how to just make these stupid, like, plays, and it'll just happen. It almost happened. Noah Brown almost had, like, that catch, like, again, like, down the sideline today, and they were almost back in it. They're a team with talent. And they're definitely just like putting it together. And I mean, it's been fun to watch from afar, but yeah, it's time to go B2A this weekend or this Thursday.
B2A Entertainment is open for business, but it's It's an interesting game. It depends on which Eagles game they get.
Yeah, that's right.
Talent wise, we have enough to take care of business, specifically offensively. I don't see a way that their defense stops our offense. On the opposite side of the ball, the Eagles have to just not beat themselves, man. And I mean, I guess you could say that's on both sides of the ball. Like today, 5 sacks, 6 penalties in the first half. That's way to lose those kind of games. Leaving Washington, these are the kind of games Washington wins this year. They're well coached. They don't make those mistakes. And if you do and you leave them in the football game, it's not going to go well for you. Now, the Eagles don't beat themselves, and we're talking about a team that was just going to make Washington drive down the field. I mean, of course, we're going to talk more about it on a preview pod when we get there, but just I'm intrigued to see what this offense looks like on Washington's front outside of the Terry McLaurin. Like Terry, I continue to not understand how teams keep letting him beat them specifically. But outside of the Terry McLaurin, I'm also a bit concerned because Washington, they do run a lot of inside zone in between the tackles. We did a really good job against that over the last month or so, and specifically today. But when they decide to run off tackle, how do we keep up with this team is the question. So, I mean, there are some conversations to be had, but based on how the teams match up just in black and white, I think it should be a really good team, a really good game, man.
Yeah. What uniforms the Eagles wear this week? Is it all black?
Yeah, Thursday night.
Gotta be.
Black.
Thursday night blackout.
You think they wear the black helmets again? Can they do that? Or it's only 2 helmets?
I think they can.
That's 3 helmets.
It's 3 helmets?
Yeah. But
yeah, they got to go all black.
I'm not sure. That's a really good question. That's a really good question.
They love the blackout in prime time, especially Thursday.
Yeah.
Remember those color rush jerseys, dude?
I mean, those are
color rush was an ugly time, man.
Hey! No, don't disrespect.
Listen, there were some good games in that, but do you remember the game where I forget what teams were playing, but they looked too similar for colorblind people, and they couldn't tell what team was which. Was it like
it was like red and green? I think
it was okay. Was it red and green? I remember the Carolina and Saints game. There was some game that was just amazing. Cam was in it. I remember that, but yeah, color rush was ugly, bro. I'm sorry, but you know what I do miss? Sorry, before we get out, the pink stuff, bro. Bring back the pink in October, man.
Breast cancer awareness.
Yeah, that was cool, man. That was cool. That was cool.
The little wrist sleeves.
Yeah, the gloves and stuff. It was cool. I appreciated that. Anyways, go ahead, Pierre. Wrap us up, bro.
Yeah, but as always, appreciate all 225 of you who tapped into the stream. I really feel like we're making some, good headway. We're being way more consistent with uploads.
226, man.
226. Number just went up again.
That's more than they have to bench press at the combine.
Yeah.
Makes you think.
Well, yeah, as always, we're going to release this as a pod. So you're probably, if you're not tapped into the stream right now, you'll probably be listening tomorrow on whatever podcast stream platform you're listening on. Be sure to leave us a like and a review. Again, appreciate you to all 226 of you who tapped in tonight. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode.
Follow us on social media.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Follow us on all social media. You see the @ down there in the left-hand corner. Philly Blitz _. That's on X/Twitter and Instagram. We're going to be on TikTok soon also. Stream numbers just went up again, 227. But yeah, appreciate you, everybody, for listening and watching. Go Birds.
Go Birds. Go Birds. 227.
I gotta improve my wrap up.
No.
Yeah. Monologue.
It's golden. Hey, but 227 is 2 27s, which is 1 Malcolm Jenkins and 1 Quinyon Mitchell. So, it's the number theory. It's the number theory of all these things. Thanks, everyone. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
What the hell?